There is a moment in the Bible. It breaks every law of nature. A moment so terrifying, so impossible, that even today, scientists, historians, and skeptics still cannot explain it. A moment when the battlefield froze, the shadows stopped moving, and the sun, the burning heart of our sky, refused to set. For one day, time itself obeyed the voice of a single man. This is the story of the day the sun stood still, the day heaven bent toward the earth, and creation paused its rhythm so God's purpose could be fulfilled. We are in the heart of the conquest. The air is thick with dust and fear. The heat is oppressive. Joshua's victories at Jericho and Ai, they echo like thunder across the land, a sound of inevitable doom. He is the main threat. Canaan is a mosaic of fortified kingdoms. The atmosphere is one of constant simmering war. Every city watches the next. Gibeon, a royal city. Its walls are massive, its men are hardened. But Gibeon committed an unforgivable act. It made a peace treaty with Israel. The betrayal tasted like ash to the other kings. A cold, bitter betrayal. This alliance ignited a cold fury, a fire in the hearts of the enemy. 5 Amorite kings united, led by Adoni-Zedek of Jerusalem. 5 armies marched. Their heavy footsteps shook the ground. The sound was a deep, resonant drumbeat. Thousands of bronze weapons clanking. A terrifying rhythmic sound of death approaching. They were hardened warriors, trained in generations of brutal conflict. Their faces were set with grim determination. For them, Israel was an intruder, a plague to be wiped out, a threat to be crushed. The threat was existential. The sun beat down on their determined faces. The dust of their march rose high, a suffocating cloud of menace. The messengers arrived at Gilgal. They stumbled into the camp. Their clothes were shredded by the journey. Their voices were hoarse with despair. "Now come quickly! The Amorite kings are upon us!" Joshua felt the urgency, a sharp, cold spike of realization. He did not hesitate. No lengthy war council. He acted on a divine promise, a deep inner conviction. Protecting Gibeon was honoring God's word. The spiritual atmosphere was clear, a silent, powerful assurance. God was with them. Joshua gathered his warriors. He looked into their tired eyes. They began a forced march, all through the long, cold night, 30 to 35 kilometers. A steep, relentless climb. The path was treacherous. Their muscles burned with fatigue. Every step was an act of faith. The only sound was heavy breathing, the rhythmic crunch of sandals on stone. The air was thin and cold. No rest, no hesitation. This march was a spiritual symbol, a physical testament to his raw faith. The Amorites slept, confident. They dreamed of easy victory. Joshua's army moved in the deep darkness, driven by the promise. A whisper in the night, "I have delivered them into your hands." Dawn broke over the hills. The light was sharp and unforgiving. It cut through the morning mist. The Israelites burst upon the camp. A sudden, terrifying shock. The air filled with war cries, the clang of steel on steel, the screams of the surprised. The Amorites were caught completely off guard. Their lines shattered instantly. Panic spread like a toxic gas, a wave of pure terror. The 5 kings fled. Their chariots turned, their armies scattered, a desperate, chaotic retreat down the slopes. The ground was slick with blood and dew, but God's intervention was not over. The sky darkened suddenly. The light turned a sickly, ominous gray. The wind picked up. A low rumbling sound began, a sound not of thunder but of judgment. The Lord sent a catastrophic hailstorm. Imagine the sound. A deafening, percussive roar, gigantic ice stones falling with the force of cannonballs. They struck the fugitives. The text is clear. More died from the hail than from the sword. The cold, hard ice was deadly. It shattered bone and armor. Nature itself had joined the fight. The battle became a cosmic war. The spiritual tension was at its peak. The victory was immense, the enemy was broken, but Joshua saw the problem, a problem of light and shadow. Time was the new enemy. The sun was sinking, a relentless, slow descent toward the valley of Aijalon. The shadows were lengthening. If darkness fell, the remnants would escape. They would hide in their stone cities. They would regroup. They would recover. Israel would face an endless, bloody war. The weight of the future pressed on Joshua's shoulders. The tension was a physical weight, a crushing pressure in his chest. Joshua stood between victory and failure. He needed more time. His heart was desperate. His faith was unwavering. It was a moment of pure, raw audacity. He did not pray in a whisper. He did not consult a scroll. He turned to the heavens before his entire exhausted army. He issued a command that defied all reality, a prayer of absolute, terrifying confidence. His voice was loud. It echoed across the valley, a sound of human will backed by divine authority. Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and you, moon, over the valley of Aijalon. Think of the sheer nerve. No leader had ever dared this. It was not just faith. It was the delegated authority of God, manifested through a man's voice. Joshua believed the Creator would suspend his own laws for his purpose. The spiritual atmosphere was electric. And then, the impossible. The sun stopped. The moon stopped. The atmosphere changed. The air grew heavy and still. The sky held its breath. The day stretched. The light refused to fade. It hung suspended. The shadows froze in place. The battlefield was bathed in an endless, strange afternoon glow. A silent, terrifying miracle. This was theology in action. The sun and moon were false gods. By stopping them, God showed his absolute dominion. The miracle was a spiritual symbol. The God of Israel is the true sovereign. The Bible records the sun did not set. It did not hasten to go down for almost a whole day. The Israelites pursued their enemies. In hours that should not have existed, they hunted them down. It was the longest day in human history. The air was still. The only sounds were the chase, the desperate cries of the defeated. The sacred text concludes, a powerful final statement. There has never been a day like it before or since, when the Lord listened to the voice of a man. The mystery echoes globally. Cultures separated by oceans, Chinese, Egyptians, Hindus, they have ancient records of a long day, a night that did not come, or a sun that paused. The persistence of this memory is fascinating. It suggests a moment that touched the whole world, and the famous NASA urban legend exists. It claims scientists found the lost day. This story is debunked, but it proves the event's power. It captured the human imagination for millennia. A story that refuses to be forgotten. The miracle was not about orders. It was about God's ability to interrupt the universe for one man's faith. If the Creator of the sun and moon could hold them in place, what does that mean for your life? Your battle, your impossible moment, your desperate situation, it is not beyond his reach. The day the sun stood still, it was a testament. God honors the faith that refuses to back down. He honors the audacity of a heart that cries out for an intervention that defies logic. If you believe that the God who commanded the heavens still moves today, comment, "I believe" below, and share this message with someone who needs faith for their own longest day.